The final of the London International Sevens tournament. The men's open competition. It's the Preseli Barbars playing from left to right. The Barbados Flying Fish. They are from right to left, and Preseli Barbars trying to hold them up, but man in possession got a knee on the ground.
Yeah, it's only a maul. They're calling for him to hold him up, but it's only a maul if two players join from the attacking team. So because the players stood off and allowed that to happen, basically he just has to wait for him to drop, or they have to walk him to touch.
Well, here come the Flying Fish, and they've got a man in support on the inside. Preseli will give chase, but look at this. Leaves a clean pair of heels. Flying Fish get the first score of the final. It's number 5, Zuma Kaylee.
I tell you what, if you're going to call yourself the Flying Fish, it's a bit of a bold statement, isn't it? But they absolutely did fly down the wing then. Both players rapid. My first chance to see these actually playing a game today, and wow, I think we're in for a proper final here.
Yeah, it's Wales against Barbados. This one, the Preseli Barbars, of course.
Very appropriate for the International Sevens final.
It certainly is, isn't it? And it's something they pride themselves on. So if you're watching this coverage and you're thinking you'd like to get involved next year, and you've got an international flavour about your side, well, we would love to see you here for 2020. Now Preseli are trying to work their way out from under their own sticks here, and there was a bit of a gap between the midfield players there, so looking to exploit that. Not held initially on the floor was Steph Davis, and he's back to his feet, and we saw plenty of Oshan Phillips in that previous game. Ball's gone forwards off the Flying Fish though.
Goodness me. Luckily he went for the intercept rather than going for the crunch shot, because he could have lined him up an absolute treat then. That was one hell of a hospital pass. Preseli Barbars just need to get a foothold in this game, don't they? A little bit of time on the ball, settle the nerves.
There you go, Preseli. They have got real pace in Ross Williams. Saw him involved heavily in that semi-final.
We haven't seen anyone anywhere close to being as fast as him, have we? And he's just been absolutely hounded down there.
Gives you a flavour of what Preseli are going to have to try and do. Not only create the space, but perhaps wrong foot the Flying Fish boys. That was quite nicely done. And there is going to be enough pace to get in for Preseli onto the score sheet. Ross Williams working in tandem with his teammate. The offload off the floor from Steph Davis. Rolled into it like a stuntman.
Yeah, I thought the pass could have potentially gone one earlier. Made hard work for Williams, having to check his feet and then come back and cut on the angle. We'll see it better on the replay as that conversion just drifts wide. But as you see, the gap opens between the second defender and the third defender. They're not working hard enough on the inside, so that ball could have potentially gone. If Williams had read that and gone on the cut slightly earlier, he'd have been under the sticks even sooner.
So 2 points go a-begging. Williams off the field. Rotating subs as they are. Expect to see him again in this final. Preseli 5. Barbados Flying Fish 7. Restart will hang in the breeze and not make the 10 metres, so... Well, in fact it did make the 10 metres when it hit the ground, so all of a sudden it became playable as people were preparing to get back to the halfway line. And Barbados are having to make it work from inside their 22. Oh, look at the step and the pace. We've already seen a brilliant first score from Wakeli. And is he going to go for another? Oh, what a last-ditch tackle. Now the offload inside. Can the rest of the Preseli boys stop it happening? No, they can't. Archie Dunhill has gone in for their second score.
Lovely try. Great break down the wing, just playing with speed. He goes, he stops, he stutters, he goes again. And then the awareness as well of Clark to be able to stand up the last man, know that he'd have flood support coming on the inside. Brilliant play.
Conversion sails wide.
Look at this, the in and out. As a winger, one-on-one, you do not want to give somebody that's got raw pace time to stand you up. With raw pace and footwork, you've got to go shut them down. What they did there was they just sat back, allowed him to have as much room as possible.
Such good work by Troy Davis to make the hit.
Yeah, lovely, and then great little bit of footwork to stand him up. Inside line from Dunhill.
They will be going on after the rugby is finished for the party tonight with the Game of Thrones versus Harry Potter fancy dress theme. Bit of beer pong. DJ Mr. Mojo will be entertaining the crowds this evening. This is what you're missing out on if you're not part of things this year. Make sure you are next year. It's Preseli. Nicely done. Find Davis. Davis needs support. There's one last man to beat, and this might end up coming back to Davis, or is there going to be enough pace to finish this himself? Certainly got the strength, but just snared a few metres short. Now Preseli, fire it wide, the little juggle, and they are in for the score. Really nicely done. It is ebbing and flowing one way and then the other, this final.
Davis thought he was in, didn't he? He was just sat there waiting for the ball. His teammates just come in and absolutely stolen that from him. Maybe they've got beers on who can score the most tries or something like that. But great bit of pace. What about that cover tackle though? Absolutely fantastic. He got done on a 2-on-1 and man, it had the raw pace to get back and make the cover hit. Brilliant.
You could tell from the way he was shaping that it wasn't going to be a foregone conclusion. Try scored for Preseli by Reece Belmont.
Look at this. Saunders turns the wrong way, manages to make the hit. After a really decent effort from James. Manages to get back to his feet as well. Good clear coming in. And then absolutely stolen.
What would you be saying to a teammate who did that to you?
To be fair, I'm nice, so I'd be like, well done.
Okay, well, half-time. It is tight at the top. Barbados Flying Fish at 12. D4T Preseli Barbars are on 10. 2 points in it with 7 minutes to come to round off the action here at the London International Sevens. Barbados Flying Fish with their noses in front with 2 points, leading by 12 points to 10, and they will get this second half restarted. Against the Preseli Barbars. They're playing around with it, looking to try and bring the Flying Fish into a defensive decision that might expose a bit of space, but they've proven themselves to be a little wider to that to begin with. Little stop-go on the wing, try and draw them out. Preseli have done well there. Davis playing it back, the Welsh boys. Well, they're not for the kick on the outside. Ball sits up, who's going to get first to that? It was a good shout from Troy Davis, getting his hands on it, but now it's a wrestle for possession. It hits the deck, everyone's got to release. Who's going to get it back? Davis fancies that they will, and now look at the pace from a standing start. He's got support on the outside. We've seen this 2-on-1 already once before. Davis will know he's needed again, and there it is. But then another one, the referee down as well. It's like the Grand National out there. Loose ball, flying fish going. One last man to beat for Preseli, but he's been turned brilliantly. And the last line of defence for the Barbados Flying Fish in Will Sanders is the man who has ended up at the other end under the sticks. A sensational passage of play, turning defence into attack for the Barbados Flying Fish.
So impressed with Saunders at the minute. As you mentioned, his cover defence is absolutely brilliant. He's being turned inside out and he's still got the pace to get back and make the hit. Not only that, he then has the nous to get back up and affect turnovers as well. Brilliant. And then when you couple that with his attacking game, his awareness and his ability to go try line to try line. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to stop talking about how great he is now. He's just hit the bar from there.
There you go.
We'll leave that there, Saunders.
Say it like it is.
No, but in all seriousness, that's a fantastic effort from him. Look at that pickup as well. On the move, 2 hands on the board, just accelerates away. Left the cover defender for dead.
You can see how good the line was at how early that last defender realises he's been done all ends up. Oh, now then. Oh, the steal from Wakele straight from the tap-off. Preseli player is down. And Barbados go in with another score. But I think Steph Davis, worryingly, because he's been one of the brighter lights for Preseli, has taken a painful knock there.
Yeah, never nice to see. Looks like he's in a bit of pain. But Sanders, what about that restart? We've just slammed him for his conversion kick. But that restart hanging, managed to get it back. Brilliant take, and then they just flood the line of support. Let's see if he's any better from a wider angle.
Certainly is. 7 points.
Crowd must have got in his head for the first one. Look at this replay. Accelerates away from the first contact. Good little cheeky roll on the floor, gets the ball back nice and long. And then it's just too easy. Little lift on the short side, great width from Clark. Pulling the defence apart. Unless you spot that early, 5 metres out from the line, there's nothing you can do about that. .14 swing.
Certainly has been.
12, sorry, he missed that kick.
24.
12.
Oh, there you go, yes. Good correction. It is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. That's where we're up to. Barbados Flying Fish, 24 now then. The Welsh boys from Preseli. Just the 2 scores so far in this final. And the clock continues to ebb away. But now we've got a little bit of competition on that far side to get away, but the Barbados Flying Fish are playing with that 6-1 defence, so every time they think they're making some ground, they've still got Sanders to beat at the back, and we've seen how effective he can be. His body shape in holding off those runners. But it's a penalty to the Welsh. Another arm wrestle for possession here. Looks like it is coming back on the Welsh side, but Flying Fish goes straight down to try and compete. Was there an offside? Big shout for it there, certainly. Now Preseli put a little bit more width on it. Lawrence Headlam then out for Ross Williams. Real box of tricks. Williams then goes for the chip over the top, then off the foot. Did he get any grounding? Assistant on the end with a little shake of the head, so Williams isn't going to get it. But
but he's claiming it.
Well, the referee is now going to have a chat with the sideline referee, even though the man at the end has had a little shake of the head.
See if we can see this any clearer. Lovely little chip at full pace. That's so difficult to do. Comes off his knee initially. Nah, he's missed that.
Yeah, referee has given the 22 dropout, which Flying Fish have tried to take cheekily. Another absurd pickup from Sanders. He's having a blinder of a final. Gets the body shape to initially see off the drive from Preseli, but actually that's been worked well, and he might not have been in a moment ago, but Ross Williams is in now. It's a big third score. Conversion is key if Preseli want to tie the scores with another converted try after this, but it's a tricky one into the wind. Yeah, never going to happen, so it's going to require 2 tries, and there may not be enough time on the clock. We shall see.
Clever bit of play to attack the breakdown. Preseli knew that they needed the ball, send 2 men in to try and get the ball back. And he's been really good all day, hasn't he, Williams?
Yeah, live wire. It's been between him and Steph Davis to keep things ticking over in that scrum half role.
They're going to have to do it without both of them now because Davis is off injured and Williams taking another well-deserved break.
Now, did that come forward off a Welsh hand? Yes, it did. For a moment, we nearly had an immediate score again for the Welsh.
Lovely high-hanging restart, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just come off the hand of Troy Davis. Phillips, Davis, Williams, Evans. Never know they were a Welsh side, would you? Barbados Flying Fish. Put the foot down, up to the edge of the 22. Now the ball comes out the back. Sanders, they look to try and shut that down. Preseli wanting to try and get the turnover, but there won't be too much time left on the clock, and certainly now with the penalty going to Barbados, they'll have plenty of time. They'll no doubt start to have a conversation with the referee about what's left on the watch, and I think they've just done that, and this could well be it. Ball comes towards us, finishes the game, referee blows the final whistle, and it is all over. Brave effort from the Preseli boys. Had a couple of injuries in there to deal with as well, but the Barbados Flying Fish just showed us what they can do going forwards and the importance of turning that defence into attack. They are the winners of the 2019 London International Sevens tournament. Great final, Mo Hunt.
Yeah, what a final it was. Had everything, didn't it? As you mentioned, defence, great effort on effort, transition play, great ball skills, footwork, acceleration, all of it. So yeah, fair play to the boys out there today.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Mo, thank you so much for your company this afternoon, and we hope wherever you've been tuning in to our live streaming coverage, you've been enjoying it as well. 24 points to 15 then. The Barbados Flying Fish have won that final.